You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a multiple choice question and it just feels off. Well, what if I told you there's a secret science behind it all? That the best questions aren't just written, they're actually engineered. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden rules of the good old MCQ. Just take a look at this question. What is it even asking? Is it about the river's direction, its length, where it's located? A question this vague doesn't really test what you know, it tests whether you can guess what the teacher was thinking. Yeah, this is a perfect example of what not to do, and we're about to find out exactly why. But oh man, a good multiple choice question, that is a thing of beauty. It's a precision engineered tool that follows a really strict set of rules. And once you learn to see them, I promise you will never look at a test the same way again. So to understand the rules, we first need to learn the lingo. Every multiple choice question, or item as the pros call it, has four basic parts. Let's break them down real quick. First up, you've got the stem. Super simple. It's the question itself, the part that sets everything up. Then you have the options. A, B, C, D. The whole list of possible answers you can choose from. Somewhere in that list is the key. That's the one, the only correct answer. And finally, and this is where the real magic happens, you have the distractors. These are the wrong answers, but they're not just random. They're designed to look so right, especially to someone who doesn't quite know the material. A great distractor is what separates a lucky guess from real knowledge. Okay, so you might be thinking, if these are so tricky to get right, why do we even bother with them? Well, it all comes down to a really important trade-off. Here's the deal. For big institutions, the pros are massive. You can score thousands of tests objectively with no bias, and you can cover a ton of material really quickly. But the cons? That's the real challenge. It is seriously difficult to write a fair and effective question, and it's even harder to come up with those sneaky, believable distractors. All right, now that we've got the basics down, let's get into the good stuff, the golden rules for building the perfect question. And it all starts with the foundation, the stem. Okay, rule number one, and this is the big one. The stem has to work as a full question all by itself. Look at that bad example. The Nile? What about it? It makes you read every single option just to figure out what's being asked. But the better version? It's crystal clear. You know you're looking for a length before you even peek at the answers. That's the goal, clarity. And that leads right into the next point, get rid of the junk. That first sentence, pupils in school should have to wear a uniform. Who cares? It's just an opinion that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual question about the shirt color. It's just clutter. A good stem is lean, mean, and straight to the point. Oh, and this next mistake is a huge one, ambiguity. A question must have only one undeniably correct answer. The word best is a classic trap. It's totally subjective. Best for what? The environment? Your bank account? But watch what happens when you swap it for something you can actually measure, like most expensive, and give it a specific context, in a rock. Bam! You just turned a fuzzy opinion question into a rock-solid factual one. All right, we've nailed the stem. Now let's talk about the options. Because honestly, a question is only as good as its distractors. This is where the test maker really has to get inside a student's head and figure out all the common ways they might get something wrong. And you have to be so careful not to give the game away by accident. Check this out. See that tiny little word, "an"? That is a fatal flaw. It basically screams that the answer has to start with a vowel, which means alarm is the only grammatically correct choice. You're not testing vocabulary anymore. You're just giving away a free point for grammar. There's a whole checklist for this stuff. You want to keep all the options about the same length, because we all get suspicious of that one super long answer, right? And here's a pro tip. Base your wrong answers on common mistakes. If students always forget to carry the one in a math problem, make that an option. It's all about being clever and efficient, not just random. So, after all this, you're probably never going to look at a multiple choice test the same way again. And that's the whole point. This knowledge isn't just for teachers, it's a new superpower for you, the test taker. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. A good question isn't just written down, it is engineered. Every single part, from the wording in the stem to each and every one of those tricky distractors, is deliberately constructed to test what you know with precision. It's like a blueprint for measurement. So I'll leave you with a challenge. The next time you take a test, don't just be a test taker. Be a test breaker. Don't just answer the questions, analyze them. Can you see the architecture behind them? Can you spot the flaws? Can you tell the difference between a question engineered for excellence and one that just missed the mark?